Hey, fifth graders, Miss Harvey here. Today we're going to be talking a little bit more about line plots. Yesterday we created a line plot with a set amount of data, with some set data that we were given. Today we're going to take a look at this problem and it's asking us a question. So it's asking us to do some things with this line plot. But first, I need to read this question, then I need to take a look at the line plot. So first it says, students measured the amount of rainwater collected over 10 days. How much rainwater did they collect in total at the end of the 10 days? So now I'm going to take a look at my graph. So right here it says amount of rainwater collected. This must mean that each of these fractions represent the amount of rainwater collected in inches. I can also see that there are X's above each of these fractions and actually one above this whole. And I can see here that 1/4 has 1, 2, 3, 4 X's, which must represent the days. So 4 X's represent the days for 1/4 of an inch, meaning that on 4 different days, the students collected 1/4 of an inch of rainwater. Above 1/2, it shows me 3 X's, meaning that on 3 different days, they collected 1/2 of an inch. Over here, I see that there's 2 X's above 3/4, 1, 2. So they must have collected 3/4 of an inch on 2 separate days. And then I also see an X above the 1 inch. I see here that I have a total of 10 X's. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Well, this makes sense because they were talking about 10 days. Now that I've read my question, figured out what this graph is telling us, I'm going to read my question again to kind of figure out how am I going to solve this problem. So it says, how much rainwater did they collect in total at the end of the 10 days? This must mean that I need to add up all of these amounts in order to figure out the total amount of rainwater that they collected in inches at the end of the 10 days. I can also see in this graph that our denominators are unlike, right? We have unlike denominators, meaning that we're going to have to figure out how to make these alike so that we can add them up easier. So before we can start adding up our data, we need to make like denominators. So let's take a look. I see 1/4, 1/2, 3/4, and 1/2. I'm going to try to make all of my denominators 4. So let's take a look at what we have here. We have 1/4 here, but let's take a look at 1/2. So if I'm going to make this into a denominator of 4, I'm going to take a look at 1/2, and I see that 2/4 fit into 1/2. So I'm going to write 2/4 off to the side. And I even circled it so that that way I remember that this is the fraction that I'm going to use to help me add up the total number. The next one that we see is 3/4. So this one already has a 4 in the denominator. So let's move on to the next one. Well, here I see that we have 1/2. Well, now I need to figure out how many fourths fit inside of 1/2. So I'm going to see here. So I see here that 4/4 fit inside of 1/2. So I'm going to do 4/4. And I'm going to circle it so I remember that this is the fraction that I'm going to use when we add up all of our data. So now that I've found like denominators, I can go ahead and start adding up my data. So right here, I noticed that I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 1/4 of an inches rainwater. So I'm going to add these up. 1/4 plus 1/4 plus 1/4 plus 1/4. I'm adding up these 4 times because they collected 1/4 an inch of water on 4 different days. 1, 2, 3, 4. This gives me 4/4. Over here, I'm going to take a look and I see that I'm going to use 2/4 And I'm going to add those up 1, 2, 3 times. 2/4. I'm going to circle my answer too. Plus 2/4 plus 2/4. This is going to give me 6/4. I'm going to circle that one too. Over here, I have 3/4. 1, 2. I'm going to go 3/4 plus 3/4. And that's going to give me 6/4. And over here, I just have 1. So I know that that's going to be 4/4. Now that we've added up our data for each individual number, we are going to add up our total amount of all 10 days. So I'm going to do that down here. I have 4/4. I have 6/4. I have another 6/4. And I have another 4/4. I know 4 plus 6 is 10, plus another 4 plus 6 is 10. So that will give me 20/4. What else does 20/4 equal? Well, I know that 4 can go into 25 times. So my answer is 5. So how much water did they collect altogether over the 10 days? They collected 5 inches of water after the 10 days.